Hello guys, welcome everyone to the stream. Yeah, we're just going to be reacting to the flank. Yeah, let's see what's happening. Tell I'm coming out of the wrong place. Just give me one second.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by the world champion himself, Sam LaRue, aka Octane. We got Christopher Duarte, aka Parasite. We got Ben Genesine, the executive producer, of course. We got the one and only The Slayer, aka Aches, Patrick Price. And we got a special guest in the building that's going to be joining us early on in the show. Draza, the new member of Atlanta FaZe. Zach, let's start off with you, bro. How you doing, brother? How's it feel, man?
I'm feeling great, man. I mean, I got the team that I wanted, and I'm ready to play already, but we got a little bit of time to wait.
Yeah, how long has it been now? I feel like you've been kind of locked in. We were at the warehouse together, what, like a week ago when we were filming the announcement? A week or two ago? It's been locked in for a few weeks now.
Yeah, we've been locked in for quite a bit, so I think probably a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that.
Yeah. But, bro, we're super excited to all have you on board. We've been talking about you in the office. Obviously, we think you're a really good player. There's a few questions that are coming in. But first and foremost, before we get into it, Ben, Sam, Chris, and Pat, how you guys all doing, man? You guys doing good?
I'm fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Can you mute yourself in the ninja, Sam, real quick?
Sure.
Okay, Sam, you're still learning.
Well, all good.
I am muted.
I know I'm hearing double of your audio, but anyway.
You're probably still in Discord with him?
Probably still in Discord with him.
Oh,
So it's an L producer, L Discord out of
Okay.
me.
Oh, bullshit. You actually are L.
No way.
But anyway, the lens aside, I had a good day, Tom. Obviously, I smoked you in FIFA earlier today.
What
Yeah,
the fuck?
nah, hey, he played me to one and done, wouldn't play me anymore. First game on, he's been playing for months. He wouldn't let me warm up, Slay. Can you believe that?
Yeah,
That's typical.
I just pressed him for the 5. And then I went out and had a nice
pressed
dinner
me
with some
for the 5.
nice dinner with some friends, and then
That's nice.
came over here as it was absolutely pouring outside because of classic Ohio weather. So I'm here. I'm with the squad, excited doing our episode of The Flank.
You see Stephen Curry hit the hole in one? Shit was crazy, bro.
Bro,
That was
you see
actually
that
wild.
he was playing with Marty Fish, and Marty Fish got heckled. I don't know if you saw the situation, but like they were teeing off on 18, like Marty Fish was leading, and some guy like made noises in Marty Fish's like backswing, and he like absolutely hooked one, and it ended up like costing him, and he lost. So like some heckle guy who had money on Steph Curry is like basically tossed the tournament.
Steph Curry's hand-eye coordination has to be studied in a lab. No bullshit.
Yeah, nah, that guy's actually different. That guy's
he's
different
actually-
for sure.
It's up there with mine.
You think so, Slay?
Yeah.
I don't know, Sam. You agree with that or no? You think Stephen Curry's hand-eye coordination is like the Slay's? Hey, you're muted, Sam. You're muted, Sam.
I'm tweaking
was
everywhere.
agreeing.
I'm
He was
tweaking
agreeing.
everywhere.
No worries,
Ben's got
Sam.
me, no, Ben has me in hell right now, bro. I don't want
Man,
to.
are you fucking kidding me?
No, Sam needs to fucking regain, bro.
Yeah. Yeah,
Watch that tone, Ben. We're
This
too
guy-
early in the
yo,
show for
So
that.
Slay said that he's got the same hand-eye
I
coordination
know, I
as
heard
Steph
him.
Curry.
I was laughing.
No,
You couldn't hear me.
no. I didn't say I have the same. I said Steps is up there with mine. I'm
Oh,
still
okay.
a league above him.
okay.
Okay.
Did you hit a hole in one bet?
Brag. Okay.
Yeah, what? Ben was so terrified to go to putt-putt against me because he knew what I was about.
Oh, I'm terrified to go to putt-putt against you. Yeah, okay.
He's only good on his little like 6-foot non-regulation
Well,
butter.
That is true. Ben does get nervous on the flank putts. He's probably trembling looking
Yeah, I
across
agree.
to
Ben's
you.
terrible at golf. Let's get into it. Let's get back to the special guest. Zach, talk to me, man. What happened with your LA Thieves team? I mean, what was it like? I feel like you were with those guys for a
Zach,
while,
what
man.
happened?
You know, I feel like you were with those guys for a while, so it must have been hard to leave those guys, you know, because you've been there for a minute now. But kind of explain to us what happened in the LA Thieves camp.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing with basically the same LT boys for basically 4 years. Like, even when I was on OGLA, I was like, Cap wasn't a coach at the time, but Cap was on the team, went to the bench, and I was playing with Ken. So I've been playing with Ken for borderline 4 years. So I've been playing with him my fucking whole career. Obviously, this year we got a second Major 2. We won Major 4, last at champs. That's it. But I just feel like I just feel like our map pool wasn't as good this year, especially in hardpoint. I feel like our S&D got a lot better towards the end of the year. Our control, I think, was still pretty good. I feel like we were pretty good at control. I just think our hardpoint map pool just wasn't good enough, where I feel like we just needed to get like one more good map, because Mercado was like our best map, and any like top team.
I feel like they were really inconsistent in all modes a lot of the time. The S&D was pretty good, but yeah.
never just didn't play us on it, and I feel like they left us into kind of bad vetoes. I think we had a chance to win all the maps still, but I just don't think we were like super favored like we were on Mercado, and I think that we kind of got outplayed in vetoes really this year.
Yeah, no, it was obviously you guys had a good time together, man. You guys, I feel like you guys had a really successful team, and obviously Sam is retired now. Did you know?
EVE to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can do whatever you want.
We get some ads.
You can.
Sam is retiring. Sam, did they know or no?
I don't know. Zach, did you know?
No, I mean,
Okay. You didn't know, Tom.
I didn't know until after obviously champs, but yeah, that was a tough one because I kind of knew. Like once he was gone, like it was gonna start like hitting the fan. He's the one going to hell, not me. Like,
is that true?
You can say it, bro. I was the glue. You could say it.
No
he was the glue,
way,
He was just
bro.
soaking my time. He was soaking my time, and I was just chilling. Like I don't know.
That's actually fucking crazy, Sam.
Glue.
But no, I was pretty surprised to be honest. And after that, I kind of knew. Obviously, after the top 8 finish, the year wasn't what we wanted, and to end at top 8 is obviously what none of us want. So I figured that there was gonna be some moving pieces this year.
Yeah, and then obviously now you're teaming with Simp, Celium, and Abizi. What's it like? How do you feel going into the next year? How do you feel with some of the guys, man? How you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I think I won Roster Mania for sure. I'm very excited to play with the people I'm playing with, and I think that we have a really good chance to win next year. And I'm just like this long ass off season, and I'm just like ready to play. Like, I prefer like a month and a half, 2 month off season. It's like 5 months.
I know the off season is way too long, bro. It is insane. But we are gonna run some tournaments. I'm having troubles with the throwback because Activision they're giving me some trouble for some reason with these
Some time.
throwback
Let's throw it
tournaments.
back to MW2, bro. That's what everyone
A real
wants.
quick question about that.
Like which MW2? Which one?
2023, bro.
Oh Jesus Christ! Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Activision will let you host it, but they won't fund it, right? If like
Yeah,
it's a different game.
So at first they gave me a budget to run tournaments. I was under the under the impression that was with throwback tournaments. I thought I could do throwback tournaments, but they want to keep it strictly MW2 or literally just MW2, like the current one. There's other ways around it where we might be able to do throwbacks, but it's a little bit more complicated. I can throw up my own money, and then other people can throw up money, or we could do like a pot where I put in some money, and then the players all put in like $50, $100 or something. And there's a big pot at the end, and then winner takes the whole pot. So there's different things that we could do. We just have to try and work around the guidelines and work around the rules. So we'll figure that out. The goal is to obviously run as many throwback tournaments as possible. I've been talking to Davis a little bit, Hitch. And I know he's running the Black Ops 2 one, which I hope goes smooth. These old school games, man, they're a little sketchy. I'm not gonna lie. We've been on a couple of them, and you just gotta be careful on those, man. Like sometimes the servers are a little messed up, and there's a lot of sketchy people on there. But yeah, we're definitely gonna run some tournaments. But Zach, I got some spicy questions for you.
Let me hear it.
So obviously, people thought we weren't gonna ask these questions, but we gotta ask these questions because everybody wants to know.
Hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, we have to. We have to. One of them is how did Draza settle beef with the FaZe guys, if there was any at all? That's the first question coming on Reddit.
They were beefing on Twitter. It's on Abizi.
So I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, most of my beef with them was in game, and in game means nothing to me. Like, I'm very much competitor, and I'm talking shit. Whether if I'm not on your team, I'm talking shit to you. That's kind of how it works. It helps me get in the mode to like be ready to play, and I think I play better when I have like some beef with someone, because it just makes me want to win over just the tournament or over the money. It wants me to actually beat them.
Quick comments on
so I think it helps me, but we had a talk obviously when I joined FaZe, and it was nice and easy, nothing bad about it, and like it was just easy, just like that. I didn't have beef with them, and it was just that easy.
I think you.
No, no.
I mean, they wanted him. So
I think
at
the end of the day, we're all trying to win, and I think we all believe that each other is the best chance to win, and we just squashed it nice and easy, and I feel like it was super easy.
Did it come up in any of the like, conversations when you were chatting with the squad about potentially teaming, or was it more just like sort of implied, do you think?
We talked about it a little bit, but I don't think that there was like nothing bad about it. I feel like we both talked
Damn,
real,
Aches
like,
is
real
filling
quick,
up
and
the
it was
tweets.
as
Thanks
easy
for the
as that. I
raid.
feel like we both really want to win,
Act like you've been here before, you clown. Jeez.
and I think that this is our best chance.
I think,
oh, go ahead, Chris. Yep.
I was gonna say, I think at the end of the day, so the gaming community and even just the esports scene in general has this very like skewed perception of like beef. I think most of the time, a lot of that stuff is just, it's not that deep. Like maybe it might seem that way when people get heated and stuff like that on like social media and stuff like that, but it rarely ever gets deeper than that. And
Competition brings the worst out of people. I feel
Exactly,
like.
yeah.
You know, especially like your enemies, like competition, like especially two teams that really want to win. It's gonna bring
That's
the worst
true.
out of people.
I mean,
And you know
Well,
how it is,
ranked
bro.
players, a lot of
Eventually,
shit
you-
talk.
100%.
We've seen your tweets from back in the day,
why
Tom.
is he putting it now? 22. Glad to have
What's
you.
that supposed
Jesus.
to mean, Ben?
We've seen your tweets from like 2015.
Nah, if there was
Yeah.
flies on the wall in some of the scrim rooms, bro, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean that's just, you know, it's Call of Duty at the end of the day, man. It could get pretty toxic over here, but I mean at the end of the day, Zach, you guys are on the same team now. You know, it's just like whatever. You guys are professionals. You get it together. Boom. How you doing?
That goal, nothing else matters besides winning, and I feel like I said,
Ah, damn. We're gonna be riddled with ads.
we both wanted to play with each other.
We move.
We both were, didn't really have problems with each other, and we were down to play, and I think that's all we needed.
Yep. And then there was also another question that came in. It says, also, what made Draza leave LA Thieves and choose FaZe over every other team? I'm sure there's been rumors about you going to Optic and other stuff. What was it about FaZe that kind of drew you to him? I mean, that's a top comment, but I'll let you answer.
Should make sure I'm not blocking any of their cams, actually. Where can I put myself? Should put myself like at the top here. That should be good.
Great.
Yeah, obviously, I had the Optic offer, and I did think about it, but once FaZe because they hit me up a few days later, once FaZe hit me up, it kind of was a no-brainer. They consistently get top 3 at every single event. That's their like worst placing, and to be that consistent, it just is a no-brainer for me. I think that the Optic, we had very high potential if I were to play for Optic, but I think that there's a potential that we weren't as consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just a no-brainer to go with a team that places top 3 at every single event. And obviously, I think that I'm better than both of their old fours. So I think that I'll be able to show up and show up on
drama.
Sunday and bring championships.
I like
This
that.
just it. And
So,
Draza thinks he's better than Slasher and Arcides. You heard it here first.
Wait, Zach, your tweet was crazy, bro.
You like that?
Wait,
Nah,
wait,
your
wait,
tweet was
wait, what did he
actually
tweet?
You like
crazy.
that?
He tweeted Thanos fucking getting snapped.
No.
What the hell?
Oh, I looked at that. Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Had to be done.
Yeah,
That's an
Had to be done.
unreal tweet.
When
That's
you
up with
when you
that.
got hit up by like both FaZe and Optic, was it the players that hit you up? Was it some from the coaching staff? Like, if you want to kind of peel back the curtain a little, because people are always curious about how these changes go down.
Yeah, I was talking to both players. Obviously Crowder hit me up after the players hit me up, and I was talking to the players on Optic, and I had that offer at first, and then a few days later I ended up getting the FaZe offer.
This isn't really a question. This is more so just like, I don't know, something that maybe you could speak on. There was somebody, I think it was Zinni, posted like a video saying you always take the Optic offer or something like that. See, I know you do content. I know you stream a lot.
Yep.
And I know, but like me knowing you a lot more personally, I knew that you would choose FaZe, just because I know how important it is for you to be the best, leave a legacy, and obviously Optic, great team, lots of good pieces, but FaZe is kind of proven to be the best team in the league overall for the majority of the CDL.
Yeah.
But like, what are your thoughts on that whole like opinion, that perspective that people are like, oh, you always take the offer, blah blah, if you want to build like something, past just winning championships? Like, what are your thoughts on that whole like thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it was never about like, obviously Optic brings, like, I could stream and make a lot more money on Optic. I can do way more content and have a bigger fan base. But at the end of the day, if I end my COD career and let's say my content wise doesn't work, I can live with that. But going for more so like content, trying to get best of both worlds, and possibly not getting as much as I could have out of championship/rings, I just don't think it's worth the risk. And right now, my main goal is to win, and I think that FaZe was the best team to win at the moment. And I think that it was just an easy choice for me, and I'm just trying to win.
Personally, I think you can do both. I mean, like even look
No,
at
you definitely can.
look at Abizi and like Cell this offseason. They've been like streaming a lot. They've been doing a lot of content. A lot
Easy
of
in the
people
off
love
season
watching
too,
them.
right?
Second, guys.
Minutes up.
Okay, let's get back into it, guys.
The off season's pretty easy.
Yeah, but I know Zach's definitely going to put in some of those hours during the season too. He's just a grinder like that.
And all that, yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, I think you can do both. I think you made a good decision. Obviously.
That's what I'm saying. I stream 8s after scrimming every single day, basically, and I'm gonna get love and like after my stream and whatnot. Obviously, I think Optic would bring more love, but at the same time, I'm going for teams right now, and I think that we had insane potential on the Optic team, but the consistency I don't think was as good as FaZe's, and I think that my potential with FaZe is a little bit higher than Optic's as well. So I just think both. There's just no reason for me to take the Optic offer in my mind right now. And, they could be an insane team and that, they could be an insane team next year and, prove me wrong. But I just think that for me, my best option was to go play with FaZe. And I think that I can win more championships.
Just to expand that a little bit more, because I want to go back to the Thieves thing for a second. Like, I know you were in that organization for a while. You started out with OGLA. Obviously, you continue with LA Thieves. You guys won a chip. After the season, was there any consideration on staying on Thieves, or once Sam kind of said his piece about him moving on, like?
I don't know. What do you think, guys? Do you think you always take the Optic offer, or you take the FaZe offer? I think it really depends, because as he said, FaZe probably do have more of a chance to win if you look in the past. Although we don't really know what this new Optic roster is going to be like with Pred and Kenny. But even just the Shotzi Pred duo, we've seen what they can do in 8s, and obviously that's not the same as playing in the league or in a league match, but we know that they're both godlike, so we'll see what they can do. But yeah, I mean, I hope they do prove them wrong as an Optic supporter myself, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I feel like you do kind of have to consider the reach Optic has and the audience that they'll bring in, because you ain't going to be able to be a COD pro forever, and you might not get another opportunity to be on Optic to build that audience. And Optic propels your audience, even if you leave afterwards. Like, you've definitely built up a reputation. Like Envoy, for example, on LA Thieves, he still has more of an audience because of joining Optic, and people, they got to know him more and things like that. So it definitely helps. And it's definitely stuff you have to consider. Well, we'll see. Let's keep it going.
That's not part of the calculus.
Sorry, Sam.
Yeah.
Good, man.
Obviously, I heard about some possible cutting as well and money-wise for LA Thieves, so I kind of knew that the LA Thieves was kind of out of the question. So I was.
Damn. These ads are crazy. This is
just
why I'll be using
testing my
AdBlock.
options and seeing where I can go.
But if money wasn't an issue, was there a possibility you probably would have stayed at Thieves, just considering like you would have been there for a while?
Hell no. I can answer that for you, Josh.
Yeah. I don't think I'm staying on the team, to be honest. Not with the FaZe offer. I think the FaZe offer was just too good to pass up.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Slay.
Oh no.
Slay, you got any questions for Zach?
Yo, Pat is Zach's anger translator, bro.
I mean, I guess my question would be, I kind of just want you to come out and say it. Like, you join FaZe because they're a better team, and every single one of their players are better than every single one of Optic's players. That's why I just want us to be real and have an honest dialogue about it.
How about that?
All I'm gonna say is I think that FaZe next year will be the better team, especially with me on it, and that's why I picked them.
Nice. Good answer.
No,
You
no.
know?
I cannot
Fred.
believe it.
Is it-
Things like
That's
Fred
crazy,
was
bro.
having
That's
simply to be
crazy,
easy,
Sam. That's
honestly.
crazy.
Pal was
The
hoping to
guy
get
is
you the
just
guy. We on the last
a unit
podcast,
against him.
like Pat telegraphed this.
Could
He was
see
asking
it on
questions.
his
I got a couple
back.
more. These were from Reddit. I want to also name the people that gave these questions as well.
Okay.
So first one was from the Max Milestone. What would be a successful season for you and FaZe going into next year? Is it like championship or bust? Is that basically it?
100%. I think obviously winning no championships is not in the question. I think if we don't win at least one event and win champs, I think it's a bust.
Okay, straight to the point. Another one from Aqua PSN Xbox. Was it a
hell no.
long, interesting username on there, really covering all the bases on the console side. Was it a long decision-making process, or did you take the phase offer quickly?
I would say it was pretty quick, but I also got hit up later, so it was kind of weird for a little bit of like if they wanted me or not. But I was pretty down to play with Fizz.
Wait, Pat, you know what he's saying, right? He said he was like, "Yeah, I'll join Optic," and then he got the phase offer. It was just like, "Wait a minute."
Alley that shit. Oh wait, never mind. Allegedly, hypothetically.
Need Pat's thoughts on that comment.
Well, I'm actually curious, and obviously there's not specific numbers, but when it comes to money, was money a factor? Like if you take away the team, right? We know FaZe is a better team. Take that away. Was the Optic offer better than the FaZe offer? Worse? The same?
It was better, but not by a.
They're desperate. They're desperate.
Not an insane amount.
Wait,
And it wouldn't have mattered what the number was.
Pat got 6 alarms in the morning to wake up to hit on Optic.
Yeah,
bro.
really? Right?
Let him finish. Let him finish. This is good. This is good.
It wouldn't matter what money they would have offered because I am joining the team that I want to win with, and that's all it is.
All right, there you go.
There you go, Slay.
man.
Any other
That was a
questions?
good one.
Any other questions,
I
Slay?
got one more question. This one's from Honestly
typical.
Boxy on
Go ahead,
Reddit.
Ben.
Because the money would
As
be
a general
nice.
curiosity, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Like when you're done competing, are you you want to be a coach? Do you want to be a content creator? Do you want to move into like what Pat's doing in more of a studio role? Like what is your sort of long-term view on the scene and where you're at?
I'm a
Definitely-
multi, Ben.
Definitely not a coach. I don't want to be a coach. I think that I'm just too competitive to be a coach. I think if I'm gonna
Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm going to keep it pushing. I'll turn camera off because I think my food might be done. So back in a little bit. Okay, guys, we're back. Sorry about that. Just had to grab food. Let's hop right back into it again.
after my career, I think I might try to be a content creator, and if not, then I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.
Pat's got your job at X Defiant.
Yeah. Well, listen, Zach, I don't want to keep you too long, but I really do appreciate you coming on and answering some questions. I know a lot of people were asking some pretty tough ones, so I appreciate you a lot for coming on.
I have one more.
Oh, shit.
Let
Here
me
we
hear
go.
it.
Go ahead, Slay.
What are the odds that you win the first series against Optic next year?
100%.
0. Am I right, Greenwall?
Look at Sam, bro. Look at fucking Sam, dude. No way. But nah,
I appreciate you guys having me on.
yeah, thank you so much, Zach. I appreciate it. Wait, Zach, did you see me unbox the knife in CSGO? Did you see that
I
shit
did,
or not?
but it was only like 500. Like we can't even try for that.
Nah, it was 1,000. It was 1,000,
Oh, it was
bro.
1,000?
And
Okay.
I took out like I spent like 400. So I mean,
Okay,
so,
that's
you know,
a W.
it's a
That's a
W.
W.
It's a
That's a
W.
W.
You know
That's
what I
still
mean?
profit.
Tom? Did you already sell it?
Nah, I didn't sell it. I'm gonna hold on to it because in 10 years that's just gonna be
yeah.
100 grand, bro.
Yep.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
100.
Man, I'm shooting for the stars, Pat.
Oh, okay.
You
Hey,
know?
what knife did you get? You got a bayonet. You got a bayonet, right?
I got a bayonet, shit, something like that, like a
Ayo Doppler.
Show.
yeah, the
You don't even know
Doppler.
for
That's what it
sure.
was. The
Okay.
Doppler. Yep, the Doppler. I couldn't remember what it was called. It started with a D. But yo, Zach, you're the fucking man.
Damn, though, that's crazy. Anyone else hear about what was it? That guy I saw. He it's his first time playing CS:GO, and in like 2 days he opened a box or a loot crate even, and he got like a knife worth like 100k. That's insane. I'm like, I need to hop on CS:GO or something, because fuck me, I just sold that shit instantly. Damn.
Man, I appreciate it. Oh
I
wait,
appreciate it, man.
Zach, what'd you think of the warehouse?
Yeah, I was actually, bro, I didn't even know there was a warehouse in LA.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that, and that was it. It's huge too. So that was dope as fuck. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I know. When you walked in, you were like, I didn't even know
super
y'all
nice.
had this
Do
shit.
you ride like the go-karts and shit like around?
Nah, we were there for business.
Yeah,
But are you
come on,
staying?
man.
I'm just
Are
wrong.
you staying in LA or are you moving to Atlanta?
I'm gonna move to Atlanta probably in a few months.
Yeah, they got good internet down there, bro.
Yeah, we're going. Yeah, we can be good online. That's all I'm
Yeah, go to
saying.
Atlanta. Go to Atlanta. Man. But yeah, Zach, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for hopping on, and I'll be
Of course.
seeing you around, bro. I'll be seeing you.
I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your show.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Later,
Later,
Zach.
brother.
Goodbye,
Peace,
former
peace,
Harker.
peace.
User
All
disconnected.
right.
Give us some good. Give us some good quotes. Zach tells it how it is, bro. He's not really gonna.
I love that about him. He just
He was
says it
pretty-
how it is.
Pretty straight up, which is what we want from a guest. So let's get some W's in the chat for Zach. Are we gonna do case on now? Do you want to do case on later?
Nah,
What do you wanna do?
Kason's bullshitting. He said he'll be on in like an hour. I don't know. I
fuck?
told him it was gonna be at 6.
An hour?
Oh,
Yeah, it's just that if we're not here in an hour, then we're talking it. Yeah, but we'll see how it goes. But
sounds like a shock. So we just move on with the rest
yeah,
of the agenda.
shout out to Draza though. Huge shout out to Draza for coming on. And there is something really cool going on with Kason. He's definitely involving himself a little bit more with Atlanta FaZe. You guys saw him in the announcement video. If you haven't seen the announcement video, I'm sure Atlanta FaZe uploaded it, and Val's will upload it as well. But
Gersh's directorial debut, apparently.
yeah, I thought it was a funny video. So shout out to Gersh for making a video. FaZe Clan, Atlanta FaZe, all those guys, man, they did a great job. But I want to talk about some other things. We're gonna do a team builder today, so we're gonna go through the teams, and we're just gonna kind of take the players and build teams accordingly, and see what we can come up with, and kind of see what happens. But there's a few other things on the list. One of them being Microsoft. But I think we should talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Ben, you could probably do a way better job explaining this than me. But kind of what's
Yeah.
going on with Microsoft, and where do you see the future of esports Call of Duty going, and probably Call of Duty as a whole?
So, as some of y'all may know, Microsoft and Activision are currently in the process of merging. They did have a deadline of earlier this week, and they have extended it. There's two kind of remaining hurdles. One is a regulatory issue in the United Kingdom, aka England, aka whatever. They're apparently going to solve that soon. It seems like the UK regulator is doing a process, and on the American side, the FTC is in like settlement talks with both companies. So it sounds like sooner rather than later this summer, they're going to solve it and they're going to merge. And I think for esports on the Activision Microsoft side, it's interesting. Some of y'all probably saw the article that came out the middle of this week. I think it was yesterday about Overwatch League. There were significant layoffs on the Activision Blizzard esports team, and it seems like Overwatch is in this situation at the end of the season. The owners will be given a choice based on, I guess, their charter being updated earlier this season, where they can take $6 million and get the fuck out. And
I think they all do.
I think they will probably all take the money. So Overwatch League as a whole is probably done. And the CDL, I'm very curious to see what happens. But, knowing sort of the history of things, I wouldn't be surprised if like ESL or whatever Adam Apicella does next, like they're going to end up running either some version of the CDL or the CWL comes back. So I don't think much major in the short-term changes for Call of Duty esports. We might transition away from franchising to more of what we had prior to when the old MLG team was running things.
I thought there was an interesting post, or I forgot, I don't know if it was a post. I remember somebody brought it up. I was looking at social media, where like with Microsoft coming in and Activision, obviously, being bought out by them, and Microsoft already does their stuff with Halo. What if like they start like laying off essentially the crew that handle the CWL? There's already a chance that we stray away from franchising in the future, and we kind of go back to that like old style, like Microsoft runs their esports events with Halo and Call of Duty now, because they have two FPS esports titles together, and they throw like these bigger events, kind of like how the old Call of Duty events or the old MLG events used to go. That could also be a possibility in the future if they do continue to even have an esports program.
That would
The only problem with that is Halo's in a really rough state.
Yeah,
I don't know if Halo's gonna be there in a few years.
But here's what I think though, Pat, and I think Adam App, especially on Twitter, has kind of talked about it this week. But I think he's got strong thoughts on sort of the momentum that happened around 2017, 2018, when MLG especially got bought by Activision, while TV started, and there was starting to be momentum on the Activision side of let's do these franchise leagues. Same with Riot, of like people coming in and being like, oh, esports is booming. All these people have kind of built this grassroots scene, but we want to make it the NFL. We want to bring these sports values, and that whole process has completely failed, essentially, right? I think we can call it how it is. The franchising movements in Activision Blizzard have done, the Riot have done, and basically not worked. And I think to Adam's point, I think we all probably agree. What I think was the heyday and where it should go to is, some semblance of those convention center events where you went to in MLG Anaheim and you had StarCraft, you had Smash, you had Call of Duty, you had Halo, you had Overwatch, and there were a lot of experiences in the collective gaming community went to these events and had a great time. I think that is a great path for Call of Duty. I do think, though, for me, I think a core thing that whoever is running next in Call of Duty, whether it's Activision Blizzard Esports continuing to run it for a while or someone else, we need to get momentum back to some version of a LAN league. I feel like the online activity is kind of killing a lot of the growth potential. I think it's killing a lot of the competitive integrity with Sound EQ and stuff like that. If someone can figure out a way to have more of these matches in a LAN setting, I think the value and the scene is going to greatly benefit from that.
I think you could even go ahead.
I wanted to say, even if the matches were on LAN, I'm sorry, but the single match format is, in my opinion, one of the worst things that's ever happened to Call of Duty. And it didn't just start with the CDL, right? It started with the CWO in Columbus, like when we were going to the studio there and playing one match a day. Personally, I don't know about you guys, that's what killed my passion for competing. Like going into a studio and playing one match a day was dreadful. It was boring. That's not what Call of Duty ever was for about a decade. Like Call of Duty was built on the back of just pool play and tournaments and multiple matches and like underdog stories and upsets and momentum. And I mean, we could have all seen this coming from a million miles away, that esports should never have even tried to follow the traditional sports route. It's not the same whatsoever. And so these like league formats where it's, all the teams come together and playing one other team one times a day and broadcasting all those matches. Honestly, I think it's horrible for the players, and I don't think the fans can get involved in the matches as much. Like you can't just build hype around one best of 5 series in a Call of Duty match that lasts an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and sometimes 30 minutes. We've seen the DoorDash challenges. So, I think regardless of the LAN league fact, I think there has to be a major formatting change. Yeah. And I think, that to me has been a thing for a very long time. It started in 2017 or 2018.
Black Ops 3, right?
Yeah, but Black Ops 3 was online. The LAN one started in IW, right? Yeah. So even then, I think there just needs to be a massive formatting change if they're going to go with this revival of what worked for 10 years, which I'm mind blown that we went away from. I think you're going to have to do a formatting change as well.
Are you thinking something like similar to what Halo does, where you still need some kind of seeding activity in between events? The events are the core of the point generation of the season, and that builds towards,
And guys, do you like the format? I mean, I don't mind it. Like, part of me would look forward to a match each week. But yeah, I know what he means, because I'd love to just keep seeing, seeing my support. Ooh, like if they win, just keep frying, play another one. Play for something as well. The maps, they seem a lot more pointless, because once you qualify for champs, all the league matches are just pointless, really. So, yeah.
What champs at the end? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, I'm still mind blown. We talk about this whole challenger ecosystem that we've had for years now that just has not been utilized outside of like scalping some of the better players on a team and putting them in the league. But like the fact that pros and AMs don't play each other is mind blowing. So yeah, to your point, like I think 2Ks and 5Ks, whatever we deemed them back in the day, were crucial for the scene, right? They also gave an opportunity for all players to naturally produce content. When you really think about like where Nadeshot and Seth blew their streams up, it was streaming weekend game battle 2K tournaments. That's where the organic growth came from. And so, having like, even if challengers played out a tournament one weekend and then they got down to 8 teams and those 8 teams matched with the pro teams on the every other weekend, I think that format would be better. It'd be less for challenger players grinding. It would mix in the pro and challenger play. And then you'd have more to look forward to during those gaps in between events. And I think that's the one thing that would be like the online play would be fair, because it's a small prize pool. It's just online play to mix in. The pros are still going to go hard. They're going to stream. It's going to be something to drive engagement around. I think there's been massive missteps across the board not just in Call of Duty. I think multiple esports, and I think it stems from this entire thing of let's copy the traditional sports model. I don't think it works in gaming, and I don't think it ever has or ever will. And I think we're finally starting to see some repercussions of that, and we're looking at after 4 years of failed I guess Overwatch has been like 5 or 6 years of just like
fifth or sixth year.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where it's like, it's coming due of reality, and so
Overwatch has got its own specific problems.
But in general, it's a widespread esports problem, and I think
they tried. Listen, I highly recommend everybody goes looks at Adam's tweets, because I think it gets to the core of the problem, which is non-endemic people came in and thought that they can do sports things in esports, and that took away from what was like really the core growth model of esports, like this engagement, this core event that people went to, this core memory of seeing this collective community. They took that and they split it apart, and that's why things just feel splintered and not as cohesive. The only thing I'll say to your format thing, and we can probably talk about on a later episode, and then I want to everybody's thoughts in, is like what Halo's done recently is they've gone away from traditional 5K model. What they've actually done, especially with a lot more of their online activity, is basically mirror the event format. So there's like the open bracket portion is a little bit more of like a 2K, 5K, but on the pro side, it's group stage and a bracket. And you basically are playing the same. You're playing the same thing online, same thing on LAN. And I think it starts to build like audience education on what they expect. But go ahead.
I was going to say the league format in general is dead. I think you can look at even the best of esports, and the viewership you get from like playoffs and like actual major tournaments to individual matches is just fucking dwarfed. Like you can look at CS:GO, you can look at League, like the amount of viewership disparity is just way too fucking high. And then you get down to the lower end esports like Call of Duty that have much less viewership, like it's going to get even worse. Having individual league matches and just leagues in general is just garbage. We need to go to tournament formats. Speaking of the whole like tournament setting online for seeding and stuff like that, to create that sort of activity to seed for the major events, those create storylines, right? There's not going to be a storyline from one fucking online league match, Optic versus FaZe, but if Optic versus FaZe have this long tournament through a weekend and meet each other in the finals and match up again, like that's just going to create way more like content. It's going to create way more stories leading up to these majors. No one gives a fuck about one match. Like it's not just Call of Duty. It's literally every esport.
I just think
there's
like,
no fucking exactly.
A lot of like, I agree with pretty much everything you guys say, by the way. A lot of the issues, I think that like the non-endemic people that came in behind those meetings, like in those owners meetings and those player meetings with the higher ups in the league, they wanted online to be important, and that's why like the points never really changed, and that was an issue that a lot of people had. Like the LAN to online point discrepancy wasn't huge, and everyone was always against it. Like they wanted these matches to mean something, and I don't think that
impossible.
It's impossible. You can't make people care about online COD. It's completely different, and obviously every player that plays it is just gonna pretty much discredit everything that happens online regardless, even if the matches are the most hype thing in the world, Optic versus FaZe in a best of 5 game. Like it doesn't fucking matter, because everyone at the end of the day is gonna be like, we lost online, who fucking cares?
Well, the nice
so like
thing
how are they supposed to make fans care about what happens online if the people that are playing in the fucking matches don't?
The nice thing, if we pivot away from the CDL model, I think the difficulty when you talk to almost all these publishers dealing with these big league formats is they're hemmed in by this like core goal that they have on the number of broadcast hours. And that's why like they're trying to make online matter, because they're trying to make those broadcast hours matter. They can sell against those broadcast hours and monetize things. But if you now move to a completely different model, again, if someone like ESL or whatever is running it, like you don't have to essentially stick to that paradigm, like you make something new. So I agree entirely with Pat. I think whatever we do next, if we can go away from the single league model, if I could see less of London versus Vegas versus each other, is better.
Let them play in round 1 of a 2K, slam each other out of the tournament, and then we just don't worry about it.
We'll go back to having tournaments overseas too, probably. We'll probably have way more tournaments overseas, which would be sick.
Well, Hector talked about that in a recent podcast. He said, bro, like, if the league lets me, like, I'll run an event in London. I don't care. I'll go to the Copper Box.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dude, the people that know how to run COD are the people that have been in COD for 10 fucking years.
Yeah.
And the fact that it just got so out of proportion. And I'm not discrediting, Activision and all these people that came in and tried to make this franchise model work, because there was a lot of work behind the scenes that you guys will never know about. like kind of Pat said, it fucking failed. Like, this is not going well. This is not going the direction that they wanted it to. And I actually had a question, like, while Ben and Pat, you guys were talking. Do you guys remember when it was like 2 weeks ago or something? Activision had said something about allowing Overwatch teams and Call of Duty teams to like share branding or whatever.
Yeah.
So did this Overwatch thing just suddenly happen? Because they seem super optimistic about like having the cohesion between the leagues, and now Overwatch is gone.
I
Like
think
what?
so.
So like what happened?
I think it's the fact that they're scrambling to find something.
Yeah,
Like were they just like trying to band-aid fix it? Like,
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Because that's nuts.
Three contexts. One is the Activision Microsoft merger. They want to make sure that that goes through. For Bobby Kotick, like financially for him, he's got a big windfall if that goes through, right? So he's got a financial stake in it. Second is it seems like this provision, and based on the reporting from The Verge and what was disclosed in Activision's Q2 press release on their earnings, that whatever owners process they had before the beginning of the season, they added this clause as to what happens at the end of the season, in which people have the option to take the money and dip.
Yeah.
So I just think that it's coming out now. Like I didn't think that when Toronto made their statement a month ago about their settlement with Activision, like they weren't going to start this process. It was going to eventually came out, and it came out now. So I don't think it's a recent thing. I think it's just timing with this. Plus,
Sometimes running a business can feel like running a marathon in a desert through quicksand. But Zero accounting software can help keep your business finances running.
that article from The Verge was also paired with reporting around the layoffs that happened in Activision Blizzard Sports this week.
So like, I was kind of a long-winded conversation. We had other stuff to talk about, but like, how if say I don't know 5 teams take the $6 million, right? Then the other teams are just sitting there. Other 7 teams are like, well, fucking what now? You know what I mean? Like, is it just going to keep being a domino effect to the point like, okay, 2 teams did it, all right, 3 teams are doing it. Everyone's going to start looking around like, oh, I might as well take it.
Do.
And I guarantee you that by the end of it, like, it'll probably be a drawn-out process, but I guarantee you that they all take that money. So what does that mean for the league going forward? Like, are we actually just going to go back to a full-blown like, fuck it, let the owners of the teams run everything. We'll run our own tournaments, whether that's Adam or ESL or whoever wants to take the reins. But how we going?
Adam.
Like,
we need Adam, bro.
So just to be clear with Overwatch, like I want to read to you what's actually in the Q2 results because I think the wording is important here. According to the amended terms, following the conclusion of the current Overwatch League season, it's just Overwatch League, by the way. I don't know what's going on with COD. I assume we don't know.
We're all operating under assumptions, by the way, Chad. With the CDL.
This is on Activision's press release. So this is not reporting. Like I'm reading to you word for word what's in their the release. The teams will vote on an updated operating agreement, aka like their charter. If the teams do not vote to continue under an updated operating agreement, a termination fee of $6 million will be payable to each participating team entity. Total fee of $114 million. So I think it's all or nothing. I think if they don't approve like a new charter, I think.
Oh, so they need like 12-0 kind of thing.
Yeah. Well,
and if they don't, then
we
like
don't know
30 Overwatch teams.
Is there 30?
I don't know what the approval, but
So many.
I don't think there's a world where like 6
Oh yeah, that's international too. Yeah.
stick around. Now, what can I see with Overwatch? Well, the first 2 years of Overwatch were pretty before the Overwatch League. They had a pretty open ecosystem, and it was pretty.
All right, guys, that's all we're going to be watching of the flank today. For now, I'm going to restart my stream, and we might start play some league, some ranked. So yeah, I'll catch you in a minute.